Okay, first thing I'd like to say is on behalf of our players and coaches at the University of Utah, we want to extend our deepest sympathies to the Wyoming Cowboys and Coach Dave Christensen and his team for the tragedy that they experienced this past weekend. And, it's something that hits close to home, obviously, and they're in our thoughts and prayers, and we want to extend our sympathy to them, like I mentioned. As far as the Utes go, good way to start the season. Started on a positive. Got a win against Pittsburgh. Very good Pittsburgh team. Very talented team. Great running back, receiver, physical defense. And so I was very proud of the way our players responded in that game to some adversity. We didn't play our best game. We had a lot of miscues, but our players battled and fought the entire 60 minutes and found a way to win at the end, which was a big positive. We had two Mountain West Conference Players of the Week. Brian Blecken, our safety, in his first Division I action period. He's a true freshman. And then Devontae Christopher, in his first, any real opportunity to play extensively, made the most of that. So congratulations to those guys. We're 1-0. It's one game. We understand that. We've got a lot to work on. We had a lot of deficiencies in that game: red zone offense, turnovers, excessive penalties. So we got our work cut out for us, and we have a lot to work on this week in practice, obviously. Looking towards UNLV, looked like on tape a much improved team. 17-14 at half to a very good Wisconsin team. The game got away from them there in the second half, but they played with them in the first half, and it was a very competitive game. It's a situation where Coach Hauck, it's going to take some time for him to get his players recruited and do the things he wants to do. But I think he's off to a great start. I think he's, it showed in the way they played, intensity-wise and emotionally, that he's going to do a very good job there. So we're excited about playing again at Rice Eccles. It was a great crowd on Thursday night, third largest in Utah football history, and we're hoping for the same thing this Saturday. A loud, demonstrative crowd, the muss on their feet for 4 quarters, all those things that make Rice Eccles so great. We're hoping shows up on Saturday. So, questions?
Kyle, after looking at the tape, and obviously you made a big game change, are you still comfortable with Shaky on punt returns? Shaky and Griff as your punt return guys right now?
Yeah, Shaky had a couple turnovers in the game, and nobody felt worse about that than he did. And we're gonna, he's gonna get his opportunities and a chance to redeem himself. And he's a competitive kid, and my guess is he'll respond very well.
Kyle, UNLV is not going to name a starting quarterback till game time. How does that affect your preparation between those two guys?
It really doesn't. I mean, they're both very capable quarterbacks. We saw them both on tape Saturday. We've seen them in the past, and so they both have their own skill sets and things they do well. But they're going to be. We anticipate seeing both of them anyways, and so that's our mindset. So we'll prepare for both, which is not a big difference between the two.
Could you talk a little bit about what you know about Bobby Hauck and his style of play? He was a very successful coach at Montana at the 1AA level, and how maybe you see him transitioning at UNLV, a place where it's been maybe tough to win games over the last 10 or 15 years?
Yeah, well, he's had a very successful career. Did a great job at Montana. In fact, Coach Schramm on our staff worked with him at Montana, and so that's gives us some good insight as far as schemes and so forth, what to expect. But he's got a great background. Washington Huskies, he was there, and anybody that the Don James system that was perpetuated by Coach Lambright and so on is a great system to come up through, and so. My guess is he's going to do a great job there, but again, it takes time. You don't change things overnight. But he's an energetic guy. I met him for the first time at the Mountain West Conference meetings this past summer, and a very personable guy, and just like I said, full of energy, and a guy that I believe is going to do a great job.
Coach, can you talk about the play of your 2 tackles? We heard all leading up to game day, it was Sheard and Romeus. They were going to cause trouble, and I thought Tony and John did a pretty good job. Could you talk about that dynamic of the game?
Yeah, they did a great job, and Tony Bergstrom's played a lot of good football for us, so that was no surprise to me. I mean, Tony Bergstrom's one of the best tackles in the conference and maybe in the country. I mean, he's a mainstay on that offensive line. What John Cullen was able to do was very impressive. We knew he was a very talented kid when we recruited him. We could see that all through fall camp. But to line up against one of the top defensive ends in the country and not allow a sack or a pressure, or I think the defensive end had 1 tackle in the entire game and maybe an assist. And so that was just a great effort by John. Great preparation, great film study. He had watched every snap that Romeus played last year, I believe, on tape, and he was ready for the challenge, and that was good to see. And in fact, both sides of the line of scrimmage, offensive line and defensive line, really controlled the game, in my opinion. What we did in the run game was really manifested by the defensive tackle play and the defensive end play. It allowed those linebackers to stay clean and flow, and we held a great running back to his lowest total of his career, I believe, single game total.
You talked about things you wanted to change or clean up after the game. After watching the Pitt film, what stuck out to you, or what did you focus on yesterday, or what would you like to see this week?
Well, we got to take better care of the football. That's job one. We had 3 turnovers, and you're not going to win a lot of games with 3 turnovers. And so we dodged a bullet there. So ball security is always job one. That's not something we just decide to address sporadically. That's addressed all the time. We just got to do a better job of it. We had a punt blocked. If you have a punt block, there's an 82% chance you lose the football game. Statistics will bear that out. So we bucked the odds there as well. We had excessive penalties. We got to play smarter. We had too many sloppy penalties. And I tell our players all the time, hey, in order to win, you need 4 things. You need talented players, number 1, which we have. Great effort, which we gave on Thursday night. You got to be able to be a playmaker, make plays when they're there to be made. And 4th, you got to play smart, disciplined football. And that's really the area that we got to clean up, is that 4th category.